Wow, this movie fast-forwarded through the story. Hey guys, it's Mia here, and welcome back once again to another movie review. Now, this movie review is going to be on Twilight. Now, you may notice I'm in the same outfit from my last video. Well, that's actually because I made this video right after I wrapped up this video. Oh boy, where to start with this movie? I'm going to talk about Bella's friends first. And I'm not even going to bring them up. Here they are, just the group of them. And through the book, especially the beginning, we get to see Bella trying to integrate herself into the new school and how everybody basically treats her like a shiny object because she's the new person in the school. And it's a small town, so they don't get many new people. Everyone's familiar with everyone, so Bella, when she comes to the school, kind of becomes the talk of the town and slowly gets to befriend some of the characters, which are these guys. But in the book, or in the movie, they might as well not exist. In this, they could have been cut out entirely and had no bearing on the story. About the only bearing that they have on the story is when Tyler nearly runs her over with his van. But he could have been just an extra, and we didn't need to know his name because that's the only purpose he served in the movie. Then you have Jessica and Angela. Their names rhyme, I never noticed that. But Jessica and Angela, who are her best friends, who we barely see, except to set up the reason why she nearly gets attacked and Edward has to save her. Sweet talk about Edward. But other than that, you could cut the friends entirely and have Bella go to Port Angeles alone and get attacked where Edward has to save her. And like I said, have Tyler running her over with the van be an extra. That's how insignificant her friends were in the movie. When in the book, she actually enjoys hanging out with her friends, and she does that way more through the front of the book. Like, she is constantly talking to her friends and hanging out with them. And then her relationship with her dad, or Charlie, is much more fleshed out in the book than it is in this. I know it's upside down. I don't care. But like with her friends, who we actually get to learn about, we actually get to see the relationship and see that Bella enjoys cooking, which is one of her hobbies. And also, through them getting to know each other more, we get to find out why Bella is a little bit more mature than her friends, and why she's always doing the chores and cooking, and why she liked cooking in the first place was because her mom was kind of scatterbrained, forgetful. For a long time it was just her and her mom, so she had to take care of stuff around the house while her mom was at work. I'm sure many of you guys can relate. But in the book, gloss over all those relationships, all those friendships, because they apparently don't matter. And then this is where I see people saying, Bella has no personality, no hobbies. That is like that because they cut it out in the movie. I mean, yeah, she doesn't have a lot of hobbies, but she's a homebody. She likes to read, she likes to cook, she does the chores. I'm not going to say she likes doing the chores, because no one likes doing chores, but that's my point. They are so rushing the story in the movie to get to the climax that they take out all the important stuff. Now, with the friends and Charlie out of the way, and explaining why it seems like Bella is just a blank personality trait, because they think that cutting out all the things that make the relationship worthwhile is making a better movie when it's not. Now we get to the Cullens themselves. I'm just going to group them all together. But you remember when I said that in the book we get to learn a lot more about the characters? That's the friends included, but especially the Cullens. We get to learn how Carlisle was changed, how Edward was changed, how Esme was changed, how Alice was changed, which we never find out about in the movie. They take their time Stephenie Meyer takes her time in the book to flesh out these relationships, to let us learn about the characters. She didn't talk about Rosalie much, or Jasper, or Emmett. Oh, wait, she did talk about Emmett a little bit. He says she said his personal preference during hunting is actually a grizzly bear, because that's what they most are like, or it fits their personality or whatever. But we don't even get to learn that little tidbit about Emmett. All we know is that he's with Rosalie, who for whatever reason hates Bella. Like, they cut out so much of the book. And I know the beginning stuff isn't the most interesting. At least not the initial setup, because I liked the whole Bella wondering why Edward hates her, and her trying to investigate and figure out why he disappeared, and then he's all of a sudden back, and what his mood swings are about. That interested me. But they took this out of the movie. Like, they took the whole setup of why they got together in the first place and just said, "Burnt, cut it." Now, I get that when you're adapting this big a book, because this is the other book, this big a book into, like, a 2-hour movie, you're gonna have to take some limitations. But my goodness, you made all of the characters one note and boring by not showing how they made the connections in the first place. It was just like from one story point to another. Like, stuff doesn't slow down until they hit the biology scene. All the stuff before that, it's like I blinked and I missed it. And that stuff was important, because in skipping over the whole investigation portion of the book where they're trying to figure each other out, you do not earn their relationship. You don't show the reason why they should be friends. Like I said, the friends could have been cut out entirely, and then Tyler could have just been an extra. Like, we did not need the friends in this movie. They were just a little padding of the runtime. And by the time they got to the biology scene, which seemed pretty quick, I was like, oh, they're in love now? They're in love now. Where was all the setup for them actually being in love? Because I don't see it, and this relationship was not earned. And then, to make it more exciting, they added in the character of Waylon, and then they used him to better show the villains, or James, Victoria, and Laurent. When in the book, we were not introduced at all to our main antagonists until most of the way through the book. We were nearly done with the book before they even came in the picture. And I get setting up the villains. I got that part. But just the way they take away everybody's personality. Edward and Bella. Edward was such a, I don't want to call him bipolar, but he got angry. But in the book, he was such a smooth talker. Like, he had the attitude that made me think, okay, you're kind of dateable. I mean, he's a vampire, so I wouldn't touch it if vampires were real. But, like, you know, he had that suave nature, that old charm, the, like, ooh, one move I'm done, you know? He had that nature. He went from being a 17-year-old kid to being this old, ancient person. But in the movie, it looks like someone constantly has something stinky in front of his nose. Because he's just like, his face through the movie, he doesn't seem like he cares about anything, and seems like he's constantly angry. Yes, the Edward in the books had his moments where he was angry. That was because he was thirsty and he was not in control like he normally is when he had eaten. And because of that, there's no contrast for that either. I feel like the only thing that the director actually cared about of the movie was getting the climax right. It feels like he said, well, if we get the climax right, fans of the book are gonna love the movie. Because that's one thing I give him credit for. The climax absolutely nailed it. But everything else rings so hollow. The emotions, the setup, the character relationships, because they didn't earn it, because they cut all that earning part out. But is this a bad adaptation? No. I have seen way worse. And you guys saw my rant on that one if you watched my Avatar Airbender movie review. That sucked. I hated that. But it's not a bad review at all, or adaptation at all. But movie directors, how the people got into that relationship in the first place should not be yada yada, or else it will not be earned and no one's gonna like it. So that was my thought on Twilight. I definitely love the book a lot better than the movie. I felt like I blinked and I missed the whole setup of the movie because they fast forwarded through everything so fast. And just the bland characters. So, like I said, I'm going to go into New Moon, and I think I'm actually going to start this tomorrow, which I probably will already have started it by the time you guys watch this. So, tomorrow as of recording this. Like I said, I recorded this on the same day that I recorded the review for the book. So, alright, hope to see you next time. My voice just cracked. Bye, guys. Little bit of an editor's note. I didn't talk about Jacob because he's barely in the story, except to give the story of the Cullens to give Bella more clues as to what Edward is. And I do realize that they did touch on the whole how Edward and Bella got together by having her research stuff about vampires and talking to Jacob. I'm just saying it's much more well done in the book. Alright, bye guys.